Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here, and I'm doing mixed media mayhem. And our recipe this week is watercolors, analogous colors, colors that are close to each other on the color wheel, and black accents. So I'm going to use Distress Oxides in salvaged patina and evergreen bough, which are kind of greens, and then I'm going to move over to speckled egg and tumbled glass, which are more on the blue side. Speckled egg is kind of in between, and it's mostly gray actually. And I have a stencil on my, it's a Lavinia stencil, and I have it on my paper. It's kind of taped down, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to watercolor some of the elements in the stencil, and then I'm going to and it's over on one side of the page, my plan is to then water down some of the inks and intentionally have some drips that look like the drips are coming from the watercolor. And then I'm going to do something completely different on the other side. And my photo strip of pictures of Allie is going to bridge the two. So those are my plans. Let's see if that is actually what happens. Okay, so I'm moving it over here. The stencil is right here. I have a watercolor brush, and I'm going to open it up. I think some of the water has leaked into the cap, but that's okay. I'm just gonna start with a color and kind of do a few of these are kind of like little swirls, and I'm gonna do some light and some dark, and I'm not being real precise. I want it to look kind of irregularly watercolored. I don't want it to look stenciled, if you get the gist of that. I want it to look like I made these little kind of pear-shaped things sort of on my own. And my idea is that I will do some of the clearer colors in the little elliptical shaped things, and then I'll fill in around it with the speckled egg, the grayer color, so it'll kind of look backgroundish, if you will. So I'm squeezing a little water into that, and this is a very different color from that, and it's okay if I go outside the lines. Can you see at all what I'm doing? Let me get, when I did that, it moved the paper, and that's probably okay. But I'm going to move it over this way and see if you can get a better view. This color I'm using right now is the evergreen bough, and it's also kind of a grayish color. Let me get the paper. Well, do this. I'm going to squeeze a little bit more in here. Now, I could have used real watercolors, but I tend to be able to pull inks that are analogous colors. Just the way I have my inks arranged and organized, it's easier for me to do that. And to be honest, the day got away from me, and I'm late getting this done. And I'm trying to be a little bit messy and scrubby and kind of and why I pulled this particular part of the color spectrum for the particular photos I have, I could not explain that to you. I have no idea. Now, I think I have enough left in there to do a few. I'm going to squeeze some water through so that it kind of. Now I'm going to do tumbled glass, which is going to be a lighter blue even than the speckled egg that I used. And I'm out of water in the water brush, so I'm going to spray a little water on my ink pad and then soak it up. So it's a little bit different from the speckled egg, but we're doing analogous colors, so it's not such a bad thing for it to be close. I'm going to fill in all the white elliptical areas and make sure that they're all colored before I go in with the gray on the outside. I'm going to add this in just like as an accent color to some of the lighter ones. We'll kind of do that. Okay, that is done. Well, I have the wrong lid. Oh, excuse me, I moved my laptop there. I'm going to now do the speckled egg. I have to get the paper straight, and for that I have to move my laptop, and I'm just going to do it like this. I have taped the stencil to the table and not to the paper. And I kind of want to, the paper's, therefore the paper's moving. Okay, so now we're going to do these kind of filler spots that go in between. And it's, like I said, it's kind of a grayish color. And I'm really going to get kind of watery and loose with this, but I do want the stencil part to show, because that's where the detail is. And it kind of has some divisions and so forth. I'm going to maybe go inside there. We'll kind of go, there's not going to be as much as we go up the stencil. And if, like this one, when the ink dried, is fairly it's really light, but even if it looks a little white, that's not going to be a problem. Now the stencil's really kind of off kilter here, and so, but the way that I'm doing this and the look I'm going for isn't going, that's not going to matter if it's kind of, the lines aren't clear, because like I said, I didn't want a stenciled look, except I do want some white spaces showing as I do this background. Okay, and I think I'm done there, and I'm hoping it kind of looks like an abstract watercolor, and it does. I'm not really feeling it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do really heavy bits like this of the paints. The salvaged patina will be next. And that's what I'm going to create the drips from. A lot of stuff going on my reminders there. It's time apparently for me to get up and walk around, or so my watch tells me. I'm going to now spray the watercolor and the, let me see if I can show it to you here, and this, and I'm spraying down on the streaks of ink, and I'm going to kind of spray down on these so that they also streak. And I'm not getting as streaky a look as I wanted. I'm going to add some more of the, I'm hesitant to put this down now because I've got a lot of drips. So I'm going to go through and do that again and do some more downward spraying. And now I'm going to wipe off the glass mat. I'm going to put this down and do this. And then I'm heavily going to splatter with black. All over, pretty much. And where this line is, where the stencil stopped, I'm gonna kind of disguise that with butterflies. Okay, let's get this across. My black ink is kind of, has been, I wanted to do it when this was wet, because it's kind of spreading around into splotches over on the wet side, but it's staying as splatters over on the other side. And this is truly black, but it's kind of coming out sort of like that navy blue that I used in a different layout. I don't know whether it was one that you've already seen or not. Okay, so I was thinking I'd put this here, and I wanted to do the word happy, the title happy, over the part that was the streaks. So I'm going to do that. I will put this down. Well, before I do that, let me take that up. That's easy to come up. I want to do this film strip that Sharon gave me. Let me get it separated from the backing. And that's not as easy as it sounds. Okay, I'm going to pull this back as far as I think it's going to go. I want to run it across the whole 12 inches. And I want the streaky part to show underneath it. So I've got to be very careful in putting this down to get it parallel to the end of the page. And it actually worked out perfectly. So I'll just trim it right there. Sharon, this is wonderful stuff, and I thank you very much for sending it to me. I don't think there's a layout that I make that I don't want to use film strips on, and these are just so different from the others that are out there. I love the others and use them a lot. Okay, so there's that. That tells me that I want this here and the word happy kind of spanning that. And let me see if I can have this come down a little there, and then the word happy actually kind of overlaps the photo strip, which I can always change because it hasn't been glued down. And it's the kind it's on a wet surface. I think it's going to have to be glued down. Okay, here, and then the word happy goes maybe right there, kind of overlapping the page, and I will just put a little bit of glue up at the top and down at the bottom. And this is another in my series for each of the kids. I'm running kind of a favorite photo through a lot of different filters. And it's going to be in a section of an album that I'm going to kind of subtitle Fun with Filters. And so this is Allie's. And this photo was taken, the original one was taken by my son at my birthday dinner back in December, and I love it. I told her I was going to have some fun with it. I've got this little guy that, because her name is Allie, we call her AllieGator, and so I bought some AllieGator images and fussy cut them out. Okay, so now my plans were to use these butterflies, the two large ones down at the bottom, and then the three smaller ones kind of up at the top. So let me just kind of do that, and I want one of these to kind of hide the fact that that's open. So I'll go here, and then I'll have this one kind of overlapping the title, and when my glue bottle needs to be filled, the top of course dries out a little bit. And I know that could be solved by storing it upside down, but with the pen in it, I don't think that would work. The pen would come out. Okay, so let me go this way. And the idea with the big butterflies is to kind of have a counterpoint to the watercolor, although in actuality the watercolor didn't make that big a statement. And I think I'm going to do some to the part of the watercolor that shows. I may do something to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Don't know what I mean by that, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't know whether I'm going to do it off camera or on camera. So I'm going to go here. And then the small one will almost fly off the page. I'm going to move this one down a little bit because I won't have room for this one. I'm going to go here. And that one wing is going to stick up above the top of the page, but that's perfectly all right with me. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paintbrush, this paintbrush. I'm going to fill the chamber up with water again. And I'm going to use a, let's see, where's my water? I'm going to use a different color. And try to see what we can do here. Let's do maybe, what color do I want? Something that's similar to this word happy. What color is the closest to that? And I'm thinking, well, there's broken china. That's pretty darn close. Okay, so let's try this, where I'll go in to each of these. That's kind of a little too bright, so I'm going to kind of move some things around, move some color around there with water. And a little bit of this, maybe something like that. And I'm going to let that water cause the oxides to react. And I'm hoping that what this does is make it look a little more like a painting with some shadowing and accents. And let me get a little more of this to kind of get that color in a couple places. And I'll do some more water to kind of drip that around. And yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. You're absolutely right if that's what you were thinking. I'm trying to create, I tried to use a stencil to create a watercolor painting, and I didn't want it to be too realistic. Well, you know, mission accomplished. So I'm going to go kind of add the elliptical shape to those that were meant to have it. This green one is fairly distinct, and I'll kind of add some blue around it. I really like the water reactivity that I'm seeing here with this, especially with the parts where I went back and kind of blurred things with water. So I'm going to do a little more of that, and I think we're almost done. And right now, what I need are some more believable streaks. Oops, that's on the film strip, so that's not going to happen. I'm going to do this kind of, Oops, and that's streaking the black as well. And now kind of have it come down, and it's added a really abstract sort of streakiness down here that looks like the painting fell and dripped. And that's kind of what I was going for, was a painting that fell. And by golly, it fell. Okay, now I'm going to put this away and see if there's anything else I want to do with this, or if I need to dry it. I may blot it. If I blot it too soon, I will lose some of the water reactive effects that I'm going for. Like, I'll show you, for example, this streak right here is kind of watery in the middle, and there's an outline on the outside. That only develops after when things dry on their own. You can't achieve that by blow drying or heat gunning or blotting with this. So I won't blot with this right now. I will hold it up because if it drips, that's what I'm going for. This is the page, and I think I kind of like it. I may do a little bit of, it kind of looks like the stencil ended right here. So I'm going to add some of the details to go all the way out to the edge. And I have no particular design in mind for that. It already goes to the top, to the, you know, all the way to the edge on the top. Let me get a little more pigment there. Okay, I'm going to stop because it's time to stop. It's time. It's time to stop. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you'll check out everybody else who undoubtedly did a much better job with watercolors on their pages. And I will see you tomorrow for Stamp It Like It's Hot, where my video shows how not to do ombre stamping. Everybody else in the hop is showing you how to do it, and you can watch some very good YouTubers showing this. And to me, it's a technique that's probably much more effective and maybe a little easier to accomplish. Card scale, and I was trying to do something. Of course, I was doing it on a layout. I'm just going to use that as an excuse. It's I'm a firm believer that anything you can do for cards, you can also do on layouts, and vice versa, almost. But anyway, this is it, and I'm going to try to maybe get that a little bit closer up so you can kind of see the wispiness and the water reactivity. So I kind of like it. Thank you for watching. Bye. And ooh, don't you like what Katie did to my hair today? she blow dried it straight and then added these curls. So she took away my real curls and then added in a little bit more orderly looking curls. So we'll see. Bye. Great seeing you. Bye.